There is a lot you could do with $550. You can buy a ticket to fly halfway across the world. You can go on a pretty nice little vacation, go see your favorite band in concert, or you could buy these, the brand new, not so new AirPods Max. When Apple announced these on stage and announced that there really isn't anything different with them aside from USB-C and new colors, well, to say disappointment was the feeling is probably an understatement. AirPods Max are my favorite pair of headphones. I've been using them since they came out pretty much back in 2020. These things have not received an update since then, and well, there is a lot to cover here because clearly to Apple, it was worth continuing to sell this product. And I go back and forth on whether it's actually worth considering because there are so many different options on the market, but AirPods Max are still my default choice. It's what I come back to every single time. So maybe they're actually still worth it. Maybe. And a big thanks to Dreo for sponsoring this video. Since AirPods Max were first released, justifying them has been hard. $550 for headphones is just a lot of money, no matter how you slice it. But if you've been paying attention to the world around you and everyone walking around, there are more and more AirPods Max on people's heads than ever before. And so in a way, it makes a lot of sense that Apple would just update the colors, give it a fresh new look, add USB-C, and that's about it. People were currently buying them right before the event, even though they were 4 years old, and they're probably going to continue buying them even though they're not really updated. And apparently to Apple, the current state of the market didn't justify doing a complete redesign and investing all that time, effort, and money because honestly, let's be real, people are probably still going to buy these. And while as a long-term AirPods Max user, that is a bummer because there's plenty of things I would love to have seen updated, these are still very nice headphones. The addition of USB-C is great. This would, at least for me, finally be the last Lightning device that I own. I still think these have the best transparency mode of any product I've ever used, and that hasn't changed with the new version. The sound quality at the time when they first came out was great, but now as time has gone on and we've got other products, they just sound, okay. I mean, they're still really good and they're going to get the job done, but they could be better. That's one area I would have liked to see improved. The colors this year, I think, are great and are probably going to attract some new attention. And really the only downside aside from the lack of updates is that the cup adjustment here is super smooth, but not in a good way. It almost feels janky and not correct. When I go to my original pair, they are solid and don't move on their own. This one, it's very hard to show on video, but it's just not the same feeling. Feels a little cheaper, not as high end, but other than that, these are the same headphones. Real quick, I want to thank this video sponsor Dreo and the WH517S wall-mounted space heater. Now, I live in a house that I love, but is over 120 years old. It was built in 1900, and that was before electricity, that was before central heating, and well, that means there's a lot of places in my house that don't stay cool, or in the winter when it's very cold, don't stay warm. And that's where a product like this, for me, really comes in handy. Dreo is the top fan and heater brand here in the US, and this is the latest in their lineup. Now what's great is that this is efficient, it's smart, and it's fast. It heats up in just 2 seconds, so as soon as you turn it on, basically you're already feeling heat. And you're able to control that heat, when it heats up, when it turns on, the schedule, all of that through the Dreo app. So I can adjust schedules, I can adjust the temperature or turn it on and off. And this is compatible with your different smart home appliances like Google Home or Alexa. And even though this is wall mounted, it is super powerful and you'll feel the heat anywhere. Now, one big area of concern with space heaters is safety. This is a lot of power and heat that is in your house and you want to make sure you're safe. And this has 8 layers of safety built in. So it has a child lock, it has a safety plug, it has thermally insulated wiring. The mount on the wall is heavy duty, so it shouldn't fall off. It has a 5VA flammability rating, so it's basically fireproof, and it has overheat protection, so if something goes awry, it can shut itself off. Plus, you can get safety notifications. It's ETL listed. Basically, this is as safe of a space heater that you can have, but it has all the controls at your fingertips. And there's also a different model, the WH570AS, which has an ALCI safety plug built in and is IP24 water resistant. So you can use this in the bathroom to safely heat in there as well. This thing is going to be essential when it starts snowing here very, very soon. And I'm excited to have it. If you want to check out what Dreo has to offer when it comes to space heaters or really anything else, I'll leave my link down below. It has all the info for discount codes and all of that. It's in the description. Check it out and stay warm this winter. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, are AirPods Max still worth it at the end of 2024? And really the only way I know how to do that is to talk about my original pair, because the way those have held up is probably exactly the same as how these new ones will hold up. And so if you're looking to get them, here is my experience. Now, these are my original pair of AirPods Max, and as you can see, they look a little beat up. And well, this is because last year we got a new puppy. He found his way over to my AirPods Max and absolutely destroyed them. Luckily, he didn't hit any of the vital parts. He just chewed up the top headband a bit and destroyed the ear cups, but I was able to replace those. I had to get the green because at the time black wasn't available. It was a whole mess, but this is what they look like. But they still work perfectly fine. The sound quality is the same. The noise cancellation and transparency mode is still the same. Even the top band didn't get all that affected. They just look janky. But hey, it's a testament to the durability, I guess, that they can withstand a 40-pound teething puppy and come out looking like this. It's not too bad. But aside from that, I think the durability is great. The aluminum has not chipped. It hasn't been dinged, even though I take this with me when I'm traveling everywhere. And I also don't use the horrible purse case that just is useless. I don't use that at all. I put them down on my desk, charge them, take them around with me, travel, everything, and they still look like this. It's pretty great. Now over time, the ear cups and top band will start to degrade. Luckily, the ear cups are replaceable, like I have the green ones here, but the top band is not. So over time, that will start to lose its elasticity and it will become less and less comfortable. Although for me, mine still feel pretty great on my head. It hasn't really been an issue, but I have seen other people and it is something that happens. Now going back to that sound quality, I said that the sound quality compared to other headphones in this range are not like top tier, and I stick by that. It's not a top tier headphone when it comes to that, but that's not to say that these sound bad at all. I think they actually sound great. It just could be better, and you can see how it could be better. When it comes to every Apple offering, these just have the best quality out there right now. I've heard some people say that AirPods Pro 2 maybe sound better. I just don't agree with that at all. These have a bigger sound stage, they handle mids and highs better, and they have more bass response in my experience. I enjoy listening to these over any of the other AirPods I have. If my task is specifically to listen to music, I'm picking up AirPods Max over all of the other AirPods. And even though these are using the H1 chip inside, which is the old version of the AirPods chip, they're not using H2, although there are two of them since there's one in each cup. So maybe it is kind of H2. But even though it's on that older hardware, these still generally act like AirPods. So they're able to switch between devices easily. They connect super easily. And if you're looking for that AirPod experience, these still give you that better than any other third-party headphone that I've ever used. And kind of going along with those smarts, the noise cancellation and transparency mode in here is still great. I think that when they first came out, like back in 2020, the noise cancellation was some of the best on the market, but they did some software updates and tweaks that I think actually made it significantly worse. But even still, it is great. If you are taking a flight or you're on a train or anything that has a noise that you want to reduce, these are the ones to do it. They're my favorite out of all the headphones I own, whether they're, in ear or over the ear like this. These are still my go-to. And same goes for transparency mode. These are the type of product that I can put on my head and still hear everything nearly perfectly. And the only reason I know they're on my head is because they're freaking heavy. And similarly, battery life is also great. 20 hours, and that means, any flight you take, many trips you take, these are going to be fine. And now that they have USB-C, I'm not as worried about having to, find the random lightning cable to plug these in. Battery life is pretty good. So yeah, if you are looking for AirPods and you want over-ear headphones, AirPods Max are still a great option. They're just ridiculously expensive. And that has always been the issue with this product. They are very expensive and you do get a premium experience, but there are just so many obvious ways where these could be better. And unfortunately, they didn't really do anything here to fix that. But if they do end up making a new version, here's what they need to change, or what I hope they would change. First is that the case just needs to go away. We need a new option for this because this is ridiculous. It just doesn't work. Most people I know don't even use it or buy some third-party option. This thing sucks. It would also be great if there was some way to wireless charge these. That would be so nice. So I could just, place them down and they would start charging. It's not a must-have feature, but it would be nice. USB-C gets me most of the way there at least. Personally, for me, I don't mind the weight of these. I'm the type of person that could put on Vision Pro and sit there for hours on end with these over and just be fine. The weight doesn't bother me, but that is something I know a lot of people complain about, and that's just inherently what's going to happen when you have a pair of headphones made out of aluminum. But I could certainly see Apple doing something to mitigate that weight. We heard rumors back in the day that there was a sport version of these headphones that would maybe be made of plastic and just be a little cheaper and easier to use. So I think, addressing the weight in some way would probably be beneficial. And then of course, having all of those updated smarts inside that give you the new version of Siri, give you that H2 chip or H3, hopefully at that time. And along with it, lossless audio support and better sound quality. All of those things would probably still not justify the price, but at least make sense that Apple is still making these. So yeah, even though these are probably the most disappointing update we have seen from Apple in years, they are still a solid product that I still think are just too expensive. So my advice here is if you are wanting to get these brand new, I would wait a few months until we start to see some great sales. Maybe Black Friday over the holidays. These things were always on sale, and I'd imagine the new version will be too. Or another option would be to go find some backstock of the older version that has Lightning and buy those instead for hopefully a significantly cheaper price. The one thing I can recommend is not to buy these at MSRP because I don't know that they're worth it. But if you can get a good deal, I love my AirPods Max. They've lasted me all these years. They're still my go-to headphone. And even though this update was pretty lame, I'm glad they exist.